Good morning. Welcome back to Ladybug Grace. Gonna do something different. I haven't done one of these in a while, but it's the Bible study within, excuse me, the In Touch Ministries book. And I don't know if they have a video on it, but if they do, you'll find it on their page on YouTube. So we're gonna go to what do you want Jesus to do for you? That is the focus of today. And the Bible verses mentioned is Mark 46-52, which I believe I have prepped. I'm pretty sure I did. So I'm just going to start reading, and then we'll read the Bible verse and see what they have to say. Blindness was a common physical affliction in Jesus' day. Since people without eyesight didn't have any options for earning a living, they would often resort to begging. How can I help you? We hear this question many times in a week. From the librarian as we browse the shelves to the bank teller when we make a withdrawal, and even our doctor at an office visit. In each case, we're invited to express our need. But we don't ask the bank teller for book recommendations or the librarian for medical advice. And we certainly don't tell our doctor we like our cash in 10s and 20s. When people ask how they can help us, we respond by stating a need we know they're capable of addressing. That's what happened after Jesus asked a blind man, "What do you want me to do for you?" Background. Jesus spent some time in Tyre, Caesarea, Philippi, and Galilee with his disciples, performing miracles and teaching about the kingdom of God. Now they were headed to Jerusalem just before Passover. With Jesus' triumphant entry into just days away, the group was going through Jericho. Read Mark 10:46-52. Excuse me. We're down here. Excuse me, I gotta get a drink of water. Excuse me. And so they reached Jericho. Later, as Jesus and his disciples left town, a great crowd was following. A blind beggar named Bartimaeus, son of Timaeus, was sitting beside the road as Jesus was going by. When Bartimaeus heard that Jesus from Nazareth was nearby, he began to shout out, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." "Be quiet," some of the people yelled at him, but he only shouted louder, "Son of David, have mercy on me." There we go. When Jesus heard him, he stopped and said, "Tell him to come to me here. Tell him to come here." So they called the blind man. "Cheer up," they said. "Come on, he's calling you." Bartimaeus threw aside his coat, jumped up, and came to Jesus. "What do you want me to do for you?" Jesus asked. "Teacher," the blind man said, "I want to see." And Jesus said to him, Go your way, your faith has healed you." And instantly the blind man could see. Then he followed Jesus down the road. I know we've all heard that story, and I don't know if you've heard that song, "Son of David, have mercy on me." It's a very good song, and it's I have it saved. I listened to it on YouTube, but maybe I should link it in here. I don't know if I'll get in trouble for that being a song, but it's a wonderful song. Reflect. Many came to Jesus for physical healing, but he knew their greatest need was spiritual wholeness. In verse 48, Bartimaeus called out, "Have mercy on me." The Greek word translated here as mercy is eleo, E-L-E-E-O, meaning have pity or have compassion. On the surface, it seems like a simple request for food, clothing, or money, which the destitute asked for every day. Sorry, I looked away. Why did Jesus suspect the man wanted more than a handout? Think about what you have asked for Jesus lately. What desires, motivations, or even insecurities might be behind your request? When Jesus called for him, Bartimaeus first threw off his cloak and then came to the Lord. Some scholars believe this casting off is symbolic of leaving his past behind. What would Bartimaeus need to abandon once he could see? Is there a cloak you might need to throw off in order to receive a blessing or healing from Jesus? I'm going to pause there. Okay. I know for a cloak, there's, I know for me there is quite a bit I'm trying to get through right now. And maybe this is a way for me to start journaling that and writing it down and just burning it so it's not around anymore. Because I know on Monday I went to a church service and they put on a production called Heaven's Gate, Hell's Fury. And it was very moving. And at the end, they always ask you to come down to the altar. It's evangelical church. And I don't understand that yet. I'm still learning. I mean, I understand the Bible to some degree. I understand it's the word and it's, his love story to us and how to gain. It was basic instructions before leaving Earth or something like that. I get that, but I don't understand some of the stuff that goes on at the church. So I need to learn that. And I don't know if I'm going back to that church, to be honest. It's just, I felt very embarrassed because I had a moment. I just was breaking. I was crying a little bit at the end, talking to this one lady, and they just didn't get it. So I know there's a cloak I need to remove for the blessings and healings from Jesus. Definitely. Because I know I want to heal from that car accident. I still have some issues. But I'll tell you, that hour and a half I was sitting in the church watching that production, I didn't feel back pain. It was wonderful. It's the first time I've had that where I could just sit and be okay. That I actually noticed until I had to stand up, and then I felt the stiffness and some pain. But it was amazing. So what cloak do you have that you need to throw off to receive a blessing or healing from Jesus in this season? So take a moment to reflect on that. I'm going to reflect on this and I gotta find paper and work on that this morning. In verse 51, Jesus asked what Bartimaeus wanted him to do. How does the blind man answer? Reveal evidence of his faith. What would you say if Jesus asked you the same question? Sorry, my throat's acting up. So again, I'm going to pause. How does the blind man's answer reveal evidence of his faith? Well, he believed that Jesus could do it. He didn't question it. Hey, if you can. No, he said, I want to see. Basically, I know you can do it. Make me see. What would you say if Jesus asked you the same question? I like to have my back back, for starters. Go back to before the accident. I mean, I had minor aches and pains because I'm, getting older. But that accident really shook me up. But I'm sure there's other things I won't reveal here that I would say to him too. We credit the Lord with healing Bartimaeus, yet in verse 52, Jesus says the blind man's faith has made him well. Consider what this means for us today. To be healed of all kinds of diseases and disabilities, is it simply a matter of needing more faith? In what way does faith actually heal us? This makes me think of those stories where, they accuse people of not having enough faith, and that's why so-and-so wasn't healed and so forth, and putting it, making them feel bad. Well, we're not always supposed to get healed. And I really don't like those stories. I hate to say hate, but I really do dislike those stories of those. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to think what those places are, but they believe that it's because your faith isn't strong enough that your son died, your son's sick, or your daughter, whatever the case may be, or whoever is important in your life got sick and didn't get healed, or they died or got worse. I mean, yeah, your faith is his faith did heal him. Jesus was able to heal him. But it's not good for people to think because someone got worse that it's a reflection of you. That's not always the case, because the God always has plans for us. He wants, not to say he wants people to get sick. That's not what I meant to say. But you look, people say, well, why did so-and-so, why did this happen? Why are they going through that? And it's also a test of the other person's faith. It's just sometimes this is what God does or allows to happen. And that's something I learned in, I don't know if it was Billy Graham or Charles Stanley. I got into Billy Graham again. I shouldn't say again. I don't know if I've ever really watched him like I am now. On YouTube, watching a lot of his ministries. And he said it's just God allows it to happen to draw people closer to him. So unfortunately, some people will pass no matter what. But just because you don't have faith, or just because you're not healed of something, doesn't mean you don't have the faith. It's a test for us to go through. To me, saying it sounds so weird, because in this story, he healed them. But it was meant for him to be healed because it was an example for Jesus to see, like, hey, he's got faith. What have you got, people? Come on. Maybe that was the way it was supposed to go. I don't know if you have thoughts on that. You share it below. Respectfully, of course. Oh, a little side note here. The name Bartimaeus contains two words, bar meaning son of, and timos, a common first century name. This structure is often seen in scripture. For example, Simon Bar-Jonah, or son of Jonas, Matt 16:17. Okay. Jericho is not only the home of Bartimaeus. Zacchaeus, the tax collector, also lived there. Read about his encounter with Jesus in Luke 19:1-10. Continuing the story. Jesus and Bartimaeus weren't the only ones present. The crowd and the disciples also played roles in the story. As Jesus was passing through Jericho, his disciples and a great multitude were following along. Unlike Jesus, the crowd was impatient with delays and interruptions. The Bible says they were sternly telling Bartimaeus to be quiet. In what ways can social pressure or the opinions of others keep us from Jesus? Oh yeah, definitely social pressure. People being like, well, you don't need that. You don't need to say that. That's why I do have Facebook and I do share things. Some are, express my humor that aren't always appropriate, but I find funny and I probably shouldn't share it, but I do because I know there are people out there will find it funny. And it's just simple humor to me, but maybe I should start rethinking that as well. But yeah, social pressure. I mean, you think about when I gave up going to the bars, and I know when I got more involved into the Bible, I lost a friend I used to hang out with a lot. And I'll never forget the last time we hung out and we're sitting at a place eating and she was going on and on about these, conquest sex and she's just randomly going from guy to guy, like very lost. Like I know the feeling, I've been there. And I had changed my life, and I'll never forget because we were sitting at the diner and this guy sitting next to us, and I kind of was just like, why is she talking about it? I should have spoke up and stopped her. But the guy at the next table leaned over and says, hey, do you guys know Jesus? And I looked at him, I smiled, and I said, yeah, I'm good. I'm saved. And my friend got an attitude. And I'll never forget that. And I just looked back and I just said, wow, our time has come. Because I wasn't comfortable with it. That's not my life. I mean, I did that back in the day when I was really lost. And I think that's the problem with her at this moment. She's very, very lost. And I haven't talked to her. It's going on, it'll be 2 years soon. And I feel very sad for her. And I probably should include her in our prayers to find a way. But that's the social pressure there. So she was, only time we really hung out, we went to the bar. Sometimes I went over and hung out. But again, I'm not really comfortable doing that with people. Just hanging out at someone's house. I'm not used to that because I've been alone a lot of good part of my life. But that's definitely there. Opinions of others to keep us from Jesus. Well, opinions aren't going to keep me from him. I may get confused. I may get angry. I guess when I pull away a little bit, that's a form of keeping away. But I don't know if that's what your thoughts are on that, so reflect on that. This was the second time in the journey that Jesus asked, what do you want me to do for you? How is James and John's answer different from Bartimaeus? What does it show about their faith? How were the disciples blind, though physically able to see? Mark 32-45. Didn't I just read that? Maybe I did. Okay, it was this one. So 32. They were now on their way to Jerusalem. Jesus was walking ahead of them. The disciples were filled with dread, and people following behind were overwhelmed with fear. Taking the 12 disciples aside, Jesus once more began to describe everything that was about to happen to him in Jerusalem. When we get to Jerusalem, he told them, the Son of Man will be betrayed to the leading priests and the teacher of religious law. They will sentence him to die and hand him over to the Romans. They will mock him, spit on him, beat him with their whips, and kill him. But after 3 days he will rise again. Then James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came over and spoke to him. Teacher, they said, we want you to do us a favor. What is it? He asked. In your glorious kingdom. Make sure I was in the right spot. We want to sit in a place of honor next to you. They said, one at your right and the other at your left. But Jesus answered, you don't know what you're asking. Are you able to drink from the bitter cup of sorrow I'm about to drink? Are you able to be baptized with the baptism of suffering I must be baptized with? Oh, yes, they said, we are able. And Jesus said, you will indeed drink from my cup and be baptized with my baptism, but I have no right to say who will sit on the thrones next to mine. God has prepared those places for the one he has chosen. When the 10 other disciples discovered what James and John had asked, they were indignant. So Jesus called them together and said, you know that in this world kings are tyrants and officials lord it over the people beneath them. But among you it should be quite different. Whoever wants to be a leader among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be the slave to all. For even I, the Son of Man, came here not to be served, but to serve others, and to give my life as a ransom for many. How is James and John's answer different from Bartimaeus? Bartimaeus had faith. Yeah, James and John were more concerned about sitting at his right and left hand up in the kingdom. But like Jesus said, that is not for him to decide. You know, that's in that show, Heaven's Gate, Hell's Fury. If you've never heard of it, I don't know if a production will be coming around near your area, but it shows that when these people pass away and the angels are waiting there and they're guarding the entrance to heaven when you come in for the book of life. And to see that, it was kind of like, it was so peaceful. And I know the guy's not Jesus, but the representation of him being at the top of this gate and welcoming people as they came into heaven was so like, wow. And to see people excited, it was kind of like, wow, that's how it's going to be. Is that how it's going to be? Yeah, that's how it's going to be. You're going to walk in and be like, I made it. Peace. And that's all I ever want in this world. I just want to chase peace all the time. So I understand that part of it there. Asking. Okay. So reflect. When Jesus asks what we want him to do for us, he'd like us to recognize both the depth of our need and extent of his glory. Read John 9 for the story of another blind man gaining sight. The Pharisees questioned and harassed Jesus ostensibly because the miracle occurred on the Sabbath. What came to light, however, was that they disbelieved his claims to be the Christ. In what ways has Jesus helped you to truly see? Give thanks to God for healing your spiritual blindness. John 9. Yeah, John 9 is quite long. I'm already at 18 minutes. It's going to take me longer in there, but this was about a man born blind from birth. This is the one where he spits on the ground, makes mud with saliva, and smoothed the mud on the man's eyes. He told him to go wash in the pool of Siloam. So the man went and washed and came back seeing. And he did that on the Sabbath. So that's what that story is about. I do vaguely remember that. So if you're interested in reading that, I don't want to make this video extensively long because it's already like 19 minutes. But anyway, so that's the end of the Bible study. I haven't done one of those. I hope you have a great day and a blessed day. And I'll post the video if I can find it in the description if they did this themselves. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.